Yes, but no. Yes, and Bobby's here early, and everybody knows why. Uh, so, as avid basketball fans, this is a basketball show. We gotta keep it real, man. So my team just lost 116 to 123. That's right. And I'm not ashamed to say we took a loss to the number one or two, 1A or 1B team in the East right now. So big shouts out to Cleveland. And Bobby, I just want you to hold on to your Cleveland take till we get to a little further down the rundown. So I see you, Alan. All right, y'all know how we do, man. It's on Friday night. It's a little after 10. 7, a little after 7 Pacific. Shout out to Bobby on the East Coast. We're gonna do what we do, man.
Yeah,
West Coast. West. Bobby on the West Coast out there in Vegas.
We're gonna do you go like all the way around the globe, then I guess technically you can still be
Bobby. Vegas moved next to Boston. Is that what happened?
Oh man, I wish. Boston. Yeah, Atlantic City doesn't count. So yeah, boom. Look, y'all, it's time for the combine. You know, this is a basketball show, but the NFL combine is happening right now. These last few days, the quote unquote underwear Olympics have been taking place. And, everybody knows, man, the combine is where you show your speed, your agility, your arm strength, your hops, your ups, your lateral movement, your quick twitches, so on and so forth. But as us who either watch basketball, used to participate in basketball, I wanted to know something funny, man, because what I'm saying, the 40 times are one of the highlights of the combine. 40 times is a big deal. When was the last time you ran full speed? Tried to do it, whether it be to the door or whether it was, you had a foot race. You know what I'm saying? When was the last time you ran full speed? Alan, what about you? When the last time you ran full speed, bro?
I'm pretty sure the last time I ran full speed, I couldn't feel my leg the next day. But yeah, I mean, I used to be quick back in the day. Nowadays, not so much. I still think I am. I still think I am on the inside, and then my body just reminds me, "Hey, you need to relax, buddy."
I feel like with your wrestling background, I could like in the ring off the ropes. I think that would be you'd have really good momentum.
I used to run track back in the day. I think I'm max speed. I only got down to like 4.85 was probably the max 40 time I got down to, but that was about it.
Okay, I hit running track. Now hey, look,
I lettered in 5 sports my freshman year, so
all right. Hey, what? That's big.
I didn't have a choice though, but kept me busy.
That's what's up. Now, Uncle Scott, you're a little older than everybody, but I know there had to be a time when you was. When was the last time you ran full speed, Scott?
Boy, when I coached first year of girls high school coaching basketball in 1993. Was the last time I ran. One of my players challenged me to a full court suicide. What? Winner makes the loser run all of the next practice, and I beat her. So that's yeah. I'm not. Listen, I'm more of a when I'm in an exercise mode. I'm more of a go to the high school track in the town I live in and walk like about 12 laps around that huge high school track, and that's about 4 or 5 miles. That's how I exercise. And then I go in the gym and do the treadmill. But other than that, that's about it.
It's been a while, yeah. I dig it.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, we all know.
Used to be, as we all know.
Bobby G, man, out there on the West Coast in the desert. What about you, man? And you have an athletic background too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 2 sports. 8-time lettered basketball and football all 4 years, and then decided that class wasn't important, so I failed the 12th grade and lost my scholarship. How about that? Lesson to the youth. But no, man. Last time I ran I actually do it a couple times a week, as you know. I got my youngin. He's quarterback 1, so go out and do his training. He does, agility ladder. There's a hill in the park, so I have him run hills. So I get out there and that competition, get that competition going. So
right,
I'll get out there and run with him. When he's slacking off, I'll show him, Pop still got it.
Right. Hey, listen, man. I first of all, yeah, you get the bell for doing the father thing. Shout out to being the pops. I think that's the real deal right there. Yeah, and ain't nobody else gonna show him. You know what I mean? So why don't you go out there and put on for him? And I guess I got another father story too. So as everybody knows, I got 2 sons. I'm on the way to having a third. Thank God. And I have
story about a man named K-Wit. Nah. Sorry, Miss Witt. I apologize ahead of time.
But I've been mentally trained to not drop my kids. Yeah, my youngest son, man, he's like an extreme baby. We got to put pillows around the edge of the bed and around the couch because he enjoys the idea of flipping, but he doesn't like the idea of landing. Yeah, I came home one day, maybe like last week sometime, and I full out dove and pretty much like skinned up my elbow. Like my elbow's sore right now because of how hard I hit the ground in my living room. And I caught him. But I ran. That's maybe 40 yards. That's maybe like 20, maybe like 20 yards from my front because the door was open. So I'm talking about from outside, inside, caught the baby, and then I felt it maybe a day or 2 later. I'm still suffering from a little elbow, tennis elbow right now. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it was all worth it. You know what I'm saying? So I think Jay, of course, what up, Big Ron? We see you out in the building. What's happening with you? I think Jay might be ready to jump in. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what's going on. Yo, Jay, what about you, man? Full speed, man. When the last time you just took off? You used to have the jets. I recall you used to have the jets. What's going on?
It's too early, man. I put it like this. So I run up the driveway every once in a while to see if I still got it. I got a pretty long driveway, so
you do,
and it's a hill. So sometimes I just run up the hill basically to see if I still have it. But scared running, because y'all understand that there's 2 parts of 2 types of running. There's running, and it's the last time you was scared and you ran. And so the last time I took off, I probably was at a 4 or 5 speed, man.
Right.
I probably was clocking a 4 or 5.
Yeah, in our small little town, all you used to have to do was go out to the locals pub and stand in the parking lot for a long enough time. You might end up running full speed. Where we're from. But anyway, y'all, once again, it's RecRoom Sports is in the hoop. I think we might as well go hit the button, y'all. What to do? Yes, sir. That's right, man. It's the guys from RecRoom Sports. We are in the building once again. It is Friday, and we got so much basketball to cover. I'm so glad I got a full squad with me today. I'm talking about we running 5s. We got a point guard, a center, a power forward, a small forward. Yeah, and a shooting guard too. But the point is, it's positionless basketball, so we got all the positions covered. Everybody can play wherever they want. We got good ball movement at the same time. So, of course, we're going to start off with one of our good friends. But, of course, what I'm saying, he doesn't get a chance to come in with us. He's got so many other things going on. One of our favorite uncles to the show. We want to thank Uncle Scott Cole for coming in. Uncle Scott, thank you, sir.
Listen, I'm thankful my doctor allowed me to play after my ACL injury, so I'm back. It's my season debut. So.
Right. Thanks, Doc, for not having Uncle Scott, right out for that one. We appreciate you being in the building. And of course, man, rookie of the year sensation, you know what I'm saying? Always ready to go. windbreaker pants is always on just in case you got to get in the game. We're talking about AP. Alan, what it do? What's going on with you, bro? How you feel?
I hate Logan Paul. That's the joke.
Okay. Logan, we getting money. I can't get mad at that. Then of course, man, we got our guy. Cleveland's home. Blah blah blah. Yeah, whatever.
Damn.
Sorry. We chasing number 2. We chasing number 2, baby.
I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, y'all. Everybody knows, man. Cleveland's home, but Las Vegas is home right now. It's Bobby G. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, chasing number 2.
Okay, let's see.
And of course, you know what I'm saying. RecRoom Sports creator.
No.
Lay down the foundation one time for my guy.
So creator. Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Right. And somehow, some way, man, this is the wildest thing. But y'all know how it goes with me, man. It's your boy K with your mama's number 1 draft pick. We're having a great time. And this is one of those days where we're going to get to a lot of stuff. Right now, RecRoom is actually covering multiple platforms where we got bets, we got football, we got basketball, women's sports, soccer, baseball's coming up. So right now, we're going to definitely focus in on the basketball today. We even got some odds makers coming in. Of course, when I got our guy Tanner, who also works with Scott and Alan on Lock It In on Saturdays. That's at 10 o'clock Central Time on Saturdays and Sundays, bringing you the hottest, best bets with the RecRoom Sports crew. So let's go ahead and get into it, fellas. Why don't we do it right here at the top? We talked about it a little bit earlier this week on RecRoom Sports. We might as well bring it to the basketball fans just in case they missed it. Wow, man, Diana Taurasi retires. That's right. One of the GOATs, if not the GOAT, Diana Taurasi has decided to retire after a storied tenured career. And when I say tenured, I'm talking about in each level, she has pretty much reached the pinnacle in college, the Olympics, and in the WNBA. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere we'll find a picture of Diana Taurasi in Israel balling crazy. But at the same time, this is really what she does, and she's laid the foundation as now the new generation that we give a lot of props to is getting so many more eyes put on them based on some of the work that she's put in on the foundation. Guys, when we think about Diana Taurasi and what she's done for the WNBA, of course, there's no one really in comparison, especially when we think about scoring the basketball. But let's go ahead and get started with Scott, man. I love how you led off the last one. When we think about Diana Taurasi, where does she fit into the hierarchy of the greats for the WNBA?
She's definitely probably the greatest woman basketball player of all time, I think. All the championships she's won, gold medals, NCAA championships. She won with Phoenix. Everywhere she goes, she's just a winner. The other thing that people should realize is that our hope the other night, I think we said, was that she continues her basketball career after taking a year or two off. I think she'd be a great fit at UConn after Gino steps down. I think if she gets a year or two as an assistant women's basketball coach there, and then when Gino's about ready to retire, he hands the reins over to Diana Taurasi. I think she's got a lot of basketball knowledge and a lot that she can pass on to younger women that come in, and she would just keep the Connecticut hierarchy going because young girls are going to want to play for Diana Taurasi. Hey, this is Diana Taurasi. She's probably the greatest basketball player ever to live on the planet. I want to go play for her. She could teach me and she can get me where I want to go. So Diana Taurasi, I don't think she's going to take much time off. I think she's going to be in the public eye someplace as a commentator, as a consultant, as something in the WNBA, because you can't just let that talent retire and not tap into it. So I would hope that Diana Taurasi is involved in basketball some way, somehow this year or in the near future.
Shout out to Big Ron, man, one of our favorite guests with the comments. They're running. I've ran to the fridge too, Ron. I know exactly what you got going on. AP, it's on you, bro.
Okay, so sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second.
It
I
happens.
knew it
That happens all. Ron over here making me lose my mind right now. So
Right?
Jesus. So before I got into the LTS community, obviously I was a big part of the sports scene here around here in Oklahoma. We have a kind of a local sports group. I can't blanking on the name right now, but I've been made it. It's like a Facebook page, all this good stuff. I've been an admin and stuff, and we've gotten more female involvement lately, which has been pretty cool. And then so one day I just kind of threw the question out there is like who's the female athlete you look up to the most, and a lot of them said Diana Taurasi, which is. And most of them are basketball players. Most of them are like, I wanted to play basketball because of Diana Taurasi, because of how successful she was and how great of a player she was. A lot of them were like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Like, I know, like, there's a girl I went to high school with who's coaching basketball right now because of the influence from Diana Taurasi. Oddly enough, she's coaching, men's basketball, but that's like, little league boys basketball, but whatnot. But still, the influence is still there. So yeah, a lot of people that I've known that have, a lot of women I know that are involved in sports. I know softball's big here in Oklahoma, but other than that, most of it's basketball. And most people, when you ask them who's the woman you looked up to growing up, it's Diana Taurasi. So not only did she have an impact on the court with all championships, like Scott mentioned, championships, awards, accolades, all that, but she's also had huge impact, not just here, but I'm pretty sure around the world off the court as well.
Wow, yeah, most definitely, man. Our impact has been felt, beyond just, Connecticut, Phoenix. It's pretty much a worldwide sentiment right now. I think Jay is Jay. You still there? You got some camera issues going on? We'll go ahead. Oh. All right. We'll go ahead and let Bobby chime in on this one right quick while Jay gets together.
Yeah, man. Pretty much, Scott and Allen said it all. I mean, agree with everything. Like, she carried the torch. Hell, not when you think about it, not only for women's basketball, for women's athletics. Like I know we're gonna talk about it. Like, I think she'll definitely be on the Mount Rushmore for women's basketball. You could make the argument she should be on the Mount Rushmore for women's athletics, along with the Serena Williams and whoever else you want to put up there. She could definitely be one of those four. I don't think it's a stretch to say that her impact in the college game was kind of, for women's basketball, was kind of like LeBron in high school. Like, she was to me, the first collegiate female basketball player that made you really pay attention to women's basketball. Like, not just the team, but on the individual level. Like, you didn't want to just see UConn because they were great. You wanted to see what she was going to do. Like, she was playmaker extraordinaire, could score the ball. She had the charisma, the presence. Like, she was kind of Magic Johnson like. And the thing that helped Magic, bring attention to the NBA back in the 80s. So, and Alan's 100% right. Like, her presence was not only felt in the States, was felt abroad. She had multiple championships overseas. She's held in high standard there. And she's got that effect that where when she speaks, players listen, male or female. And she has the kind of cachet. She could probably coach a men's team and there would be no issue. Like, she that much cachet and that much respect for the way she basically perfected her craft and carried herself. So congratulations, shout out to her, and definitely agree with Scott. A couple years, I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't. The only thing that would surprise me if the university doesn't offer. They should be ashamed of themselves. If they don't offer her the job, shame on you, UConn. Whether she takes it or not, that's a different story. But if you don't offer, what are you doing? So, yeah, man. Shout out to Diane. And good luck in your next life, next chapter.
Yeah, man, most definitely. I think everybody pretty much filled in all the gaps, man. When it comes to, WNBA basketball, and we'll get into it in the next topic about the who's on the Mount Rushmore for the WNBA. There's only a few names that you can name, and if her name isn't in there, I don't think you really get the idea of what the WNBA was really about, especially when it was coming into a age of being watched for multiple venues, from multiple angles, and it was basically the stars were shining. And if you didn't recognize one of them was Diana Taurasi coming out of college, then you were lost in the sauce. Yeah, for me, once again, we gave her some really high praises. We already know the points possibly will never be because of, especially for the length of time, the points catching up to what 10,500 or 617 or something crazy like that. One of you guys can fact check me on that. I think that is the wildest thing for us to think about right now, when in real life, how the game is changing for the WNBA. Will somebody catch that really high mark? I don't know.
10,646.
10,646.
Yep.
I can look at that. I mean, and Scott said it in the last segment when we brought it up. Even the season was different back then. Okay, so to a degree, some of these women are getting a leg up for playing extra games. You know what I'm saying? On top of the game dynamic changing, with threes are becoming more of the marquee, just like in the NBA right now. So once again, big shout out to one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT, Diana Taurasi, for laying the foundation down for women's sports. And on that note, y'all know what I was thinking about when we was talking about Bobby, you said a great thing. The Mount Rushmore of like women's,
overall athletics.
I couldn't think of a name, but y'all remember Brandi Chastain when she took off the shirt for the soccer?
Yep.
Yeah.
That image in my mind, and like Diana Taurasi is like synonymous for like women's sports. Then you get like Serena, and then there's probably one more I'm missing right now.
Put a Mia Hamm.
Mia Hamm. What's my girl does all the flips right now? She's real hot with the.
Simone Biles.
Yeah, Simone Biles.
There you go. That's four right there. Diana Taurasi, Brandi Chastain. You could throw Serena in there and Simone Biles.
Yeah.
Four women. But anyway, right now when we're talking about the Mount Rushmore for the WNBA, four names. Just any four fellas. And I'll jump out there with mine. Right. So when I was thinking of four names, I thought of not just the beginning of the WNBA, but the middle. And two out of four of these women were there for the beginning and the middle because of their extremely long careers, which is very rare, especially in women's sports, because women have different anatomy. Women can have children. So for them to have careers that span 2-3 decades, this was a big deal for me. So I want to say I got Sue Bird, right? I got Diana Taurasi. I want to throw Lisa Leslie out there because Lisa Leslie was dynamic at one point in time for what was the idea of there being a female team in LA, playing alongside on the other side from Kobe and Shaq. Lisa Leslie was the main draw. Like and she held up the mantle of being the other team in LA. You went to LA, you went to see the Lakers or the Sparks. You ain't even worried about the Clippers. Okay. And they all played in the same arena. So Lisa Leslie, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, and I'm going to say Candace Parker will be my fourth because she ushered in a new era for me of where the point forward female player became a big deal, which is how we end up with like Tina Charles was in that that in there as well. Now of course we got Asia Wilson, you know what I mean, who's very similar, whose game was very similar to what Candace Parker was, but her scoring has gone so far up that Candace Parker was even her teammate at one point in time, even though they didn't need to play very much. I think the influence was there, it was visual. So let's start with right there at the top, man. Scott. Let's see what you got for your WNBA Mount Rushmore.
So I wanted to do different names. I know everybody, Diana Taurasi's on mine, obviously. So that's similar. It's probably gonna be for everybody.
I like that one,
There's three other women that I wanted to put on there that probably nobody's gonna think of. One is Nancy Lieberman back in the day. She was the first name that when you talked about women's basketball, that's the first woman that really put basketball on the map, I think, or one of the first women. So I'm going to say Nancy Lieberman. I'm going to say Diana Taurasi. I'm going to say Cheryl Miller is another one. She in college was a dynamic player. She was really good. She was better than her brother in college, I think. A lot of people would say she was better than her brother. She might be better than him now. Yeah, she might be better than him now. And the fourth name I'm going to put on there is Rebecca Lobo. I think when you thought about the early WNBA days, I think Rebecca Lobo's name was there. She came from Connecticut. I think she was part of the first undefeated women's college basketball team.
Might have been.
First or second, I think, at Connecticut. She put Connecticut basketball on the map. Don't forget, Connecticut did not play in Gamble Arena when Rebecca Lobo first started. They didn't play in Hartford. They played in that small, rundown gym at University of Connecticut. And because of her, they were able to upgrade their facilities and get the Diana Taurasi's and the Paige Beckers and the Sue Birds and all those players to come to the program to continue the success of Connecticut. So those are the four names that I would put on my Mount Rushmore. There's 1,000 of them you could put up there, but I wanted to do a little bit different Mount Rushmore than what people think.
And that's what I like you, Uncle Scott. You come with that unconventional wisdom, like always. And we appreciate that one, bringing out the Rebecca Lobo. Big Rebecca Lobo fan. That Connecticut team was very, very different. Alex, you got some WNBA players you remember?
I mean, it's pretty much kind of the same as yours, Whit, only a couple different differences. Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, obviously. I do have Cheryl Miller on there as well, and then Candace Parker. That would be my four. So,
yeah, okay, all right.
I'm not as well versed as you guys are, but those are the names that I know, the names that I've watched. So,
hey man, but you threw Cheryl in there. That shows a little depth. Thank you, we appreciate that.
It's a polite way of saying he's not as old as we are. Old fuckers.
Bobby G, man. Who's on yours, man? What you got?
I'm kind of still a little of a Scott swag on this. I'm definitely go Cheryl Miller. I'm gonna go Lynette Woodard. Yeah. For people who don't know what she was. I mean, she was the first female Globetrotter. Yeah. But she had a terrific collegiate career. She did play in the WNBA. But she did. She was in her late 30s. I think she was, like 37, 38, and basically played just to do it, just because of what the league meant for women. But in the annals of history, she'll go down as just one of the I'm losing my word, not front runner. As just one pioneer. He's pioneer in women's basketball. Her, Cheryl. I'm gonna go Cynthia Cooper, the first star of the WNBA, 3P with the Houston Comets, and what they did, and then of course DT for the being responsible for the generation that we're watching now. So those 4 women who I would put up on my Mount Rushmore.
There's one name that hasn't come up yet. That if you guys don't say it, I'm just going to throw it in.
Let's see if I can.
As an under, as a honorable
You
mention.
want to? I see James back.
You thinking of Swoops?
Exactly, Bobby. That's what I was thinking of. Shell Swoop. Yeah,
I got you.
Female Jordan.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Jay, I see you back in the building. Did you want to throw in your 4 for Rushmore? More Rush?
Man, that it's only 4. I don't know why I always think there's like 5 people on Mount Rushmore. Anyway, sad to say that right now, I'm gonna go with Candace Parker, Tamika Catchings.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
Y'all see, here's the deal. He said WNBA.
Everybody said Cheryl, even though Cheryl wasn't really.
So technically, that will put Cheryl out. So, but Candace, Tamika Catchings, sorry, but Asia Wilson. Damn. How y'all feel about Lauren Jackson?
Not bad, but yeah.
Maybe I thought you were gonna say Shamika Holmes going up before Lauren Jackson.
No, I'm just
She's going back.
Yeah, it's a few, but nah. I want to say oh Lord, her name can't. Griffiths, who used to play for the Monarchs, long time. Oh my gosh,
Was it Della Dawn?
Della Dawn.
Della Dawn was the Mystics, right?
Mystics, yeah.
She was a big player. She played a big position.
Well, 2 of mine would be up then if it was Mount Rushmore.
Was it Yolanda Griffith? Was that her name? Anyway, damn, it's a hard one, man. Okay, so I'm sorry. Here's my 4. Final. Cynthia Cooper, Candace Parker. Sad to say, Asia Wilson right now, and Deanna Taurasi.
Why is it sad for Asia?
Because there's so many folks that I can say like over her right now that she hasn't really surpassed yet. Like Lisa Leslie, I would rather put Lisa Leslie there, but I'm just throwing Asia out there and just showing her love. But that's Lisa Leslie's spot.
Yolanda Griffith, Jay. That was the one.
Yolanda Griffith. Yeah, that was the okay. That's why I figured her name was. But Yolanda Griffith, man, like Mount Rushmore is tough, but that's the 4 I could come up with.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's subjective. So we got a little bit of everybody in there. Appreciate everybody putting their 10 cents in on the Mount Rushmore. If you watch it, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you got 4 players that belong on your Mount Rushmore for the WNBA, put them in the comment section for us. And you can also watch us on YouTube. I know we got a couple people watching us on X right now. Big shouts out to the Tad Man and his X, and shout out to AP. Allen's got his X up there. We got a couple people watching on the RecRoom on YouTube as well. So make sure you put your comments in there. We will read them out loud because we want you to participate. Because what's a good basketball game if we can't pass it to your boys, right? Anyway.
Wait, before we move on, how long before you guys put Caitlin Clark on your Mount Rushmore?
15 years.
15 years.
It's gonna take a while. Like that's why
I
I
know
wasn't really being fair
how long?
with the Asia Wilson, but like Caitlin Clark is way too early.
I don't want her to be a flash in the pan. How about that?
Yeah, like
I mean, for Mount Rushmore, but she can't be normal. She can't she's gotta exceed.
Right.
Like she can't just be like a Hall of Famer. She has to be in the VIP section of the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Like we're expecting her to be the female Steph. She got to be that. You know what I mean?
And she's got an opportunity to be. She's just got
absolutely.
She's got to get buckled down here and start. Because she's a good basketball player now. She's just not on that level yet, but she can get there.
She puts up 4 or 5 seasons of 30 and 6. I don't think there's ever been a 30-point scorer in WNBA as yet.
What's age you been, like 24, 25, something like that?
I believe so. Where she might have hit like 27.
She was around like 26, 27, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 26, 27, 26.9 this season. I think that's the highest average ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
now I don't know, Big Ron. I don't know. It's some people that's going to argue you down about that Curry Mount Rushmore spot, especially with the way the game has changed. There are some people who will fight you for that.
Namely, your head kicks and haymakers co-host will fight on that.
Shout out to Dick Boggins. Shout out to Mr. Bobby Blunts too. He's got some things going on. We want to send our hopes and prayers out to Bobby Blunts. He's unable to make it, but if he is, he said he'll jump in. And I told him we'll leave the door open for him. Anyway, man, moving on. Let's go ahead and keep it going. So, to the NBA now, fellas. Now, this one right here is near and dear to all of us. Why? Because we all participate in the podcast world, the world of podcasting, if you will, the world of new media, as they call it. And I feel like everybody's got like their own personal life. Everybody's got their like a real job, real responsibilities, the things that they do to earn them, the monetary value which they put by their name. And when we get done with this, we go to those real lives. We go. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? We've got days in which Alan goes, "Hey man, I can't make it. I got a 10-hour shift in the morning, bro. I got to go to sleep." And then Jay goes, "Alan, shut the hell up. You're not going to sleep." You know what I'm saying? But Alan goes to work. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Scott, he does his thing. He's retired. I'm just kidding, Scott. But and Bobby's got a job, right?
And somewhere in some building,
right? Jay travels the world. You know what I'm saying? To me, I do my thing. So I don't think that podcasting impedes on my job. But this player had the nerve to say that I'm gonna stop my podcast because I need to concentrate on the season. Man, let's talk about it right now, man. So Podcast P pumps the brakes. What? If y'all don't know, man, we talk about Paul George. The Sixers newly acquired Paul George, if you will, has been doing his podcast for about a year and a half now. And coming into this season, he was speculated to be several other places. Yes, exactly. Bobby is just like that, like Tommy Amari. He was speculated to be a number of places, possibly landing in places like in Miami. He was said to be speculated to have possibly tried to find his way to one of the teams in Texas. None of that happened because for some reason last season in the finals, we saw him have a conversation with Joel Embiid right there in front of the world. And then Philly makes a move and puts him in Philadelphia. Now, everybody has come on this show, especially last year when we heard it. We were like, oh, man, that's an Eastern Conference final matchup. Bobby was like, yeah, the Cavs, Embiid's healthy. They can play the Cavs for the Eastern Conference championship. We had high hopes for the Philadelphia 76ers when they acquired Paul Pierce. But none of that's happening, bro. But can we blame that on Paul Pierce? Not Paul Pierce, excuse me. Playoff, and his podcast? Or is it more? Is it deeper than that? And let's go ahead and start at the top, man. Jay, is the podcast getting in the way, or is it deeper than what we think?
Man, I gotta think about people like, man, look, I know what we're doing here. I just feel like his game been gone before a podcast. And it just sucks that he's losing right now and he has a podcast. It's just that simple. Maybe that brought more. I mean, even though he's ending the podcast, maybe that would have brought more attention to it. He should have said, like, I'm ending it in like 2 weeks. That probably would have been a little bit more beneficial, but his game been gone. Like, it's not the podcast. Like, he's been dealing with certain things prior to this podcast. But it's good to have good therapy and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say that's to blame. It just sucks for him being on a podcast. Like Michael Parsons is enough. Like people should just.
Really?
Oh damn! It is though.
I mean, you're not wrong. It is. It is enough.
You should learn from that and say, you know what? Yeah, when the season come in, I'm not going to do just off season. You know what I mean? People should learn, but he shouldn't blame the podcast. I really think he should keep the podcast because it beats drinking. I don't know what he's doing on his personal time, but it's a good therapy, man, what they going through right now, man. And I think he, just like they were talking about the Mike, what's his name? Coach, not Morley,
Budenholzer?
the GM, huh?
You said drinking, so I thought of Budenholzer.
No, I'm just no, man. Damn, that's messed up. Nah, man, damn.
Oh, Lord.
Basically, I think he needs to drink as much as possible. Just he was told, like somebody said out there, like, hey, he needs to smoke all the weed he can, drink all he can, like he needs it. So I think this is good therapy to have your podcast where you could grief all your problems as long as you're being rational. Again, we've seen what a rational podcast will lead you. So I just think, man, it's his game been, I'm not gonna say trash, man, but he's dealing with certain things in his game before the podcast, and I don't think that should be the blame. And I think this is perfect therapy. Podcast P, man, that's what they call you, right? That's what you need to be, man. Therapy. Get each Sixers player off the bench. Have them be your guest star, and y'all just do therapy. Talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a good idea. That's all. It's gonna help. They need to keep talking, man. Get him and Maxie on the podcast, and they can boom, just bounce stuff off each other, man. Good to go. I don't understand, man.
Bobby G, man, is this good? Is it good therapy? Does he need another outlet besides, especially with what he's going through right now? So, what does he need to keep the podcast? It don't matter no more. Might as well rock it out.
Nobody cares, bro.
Exactly.
Like nobody cares.
Wow.
Like, and I mean this for everybody. It's not even a Paul George thing. Gilbert Arenas is having a great time, grand old time in the podcast world. But if he stopped his podcast tomorrow, nobody would really care. Like, so what? It's a bunch of rich dudes that found another revenue stream to milk. And that's cool. We appreciate it as fans because they're telling, some stories we never heard or maybe have heard, not confirmed. It's additional entertainment. But at the end of the day, nobody cares. We'll find something else to watch, bro. Why do you think Married with Children doesn't come on anymore? Why do you think Friends ended? Everything has to end. Seinfeld, Cosby Show. I don't care what it is. Nothing lasts forever.
You can't compare
Cosby had the info.
Award-winning stuff
Another reason to compare.
this podcast, dude. That's different. I can't.
No, but I made my point. No, my point is everything ends.
But why did Married with Children? I thought you knew. I was about to say, damn. That's why I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
why did they end? My fault.
Yeah, but no, everything ends. Like you don't hear people clamor. Ain't nobody blowing up the network talking about bring Friends back. No, we moved on.
Hey,
the other stuff.
Hey, that's what you say.
Yeah, but look, and what happens every time they do try and bring something back? It
Somebody
fails.
dies.
Yeah.
Like nobody cares. It's entertaining for the moment. This generation has the attention span of a goldfish. Nobody cares, man. Like nobody even cares for the reason that you say you're doing it. Like if it was playoff time and you were doing, that'd be interesting. Like for about 2 days, everybody's interested in LeBron when he says, "Yo, I'm going 0 dark 30." Everybody, okay, LeBron getting in playoff mode. And then after 2 days, we don't care anymore. Like nobody cares, bro. Just do you. Whatever makes you happy. But more importantly, do it on the basketball court because that's why you make $100 million. How about that?
Yeah. Stealing money right now.
Right.
Shit, you should work it off somewhere. do your Carlton thing at late nights. Oh yeah, he in Philly now.
Get your ass on the sideline and do some play-by-play. How about that?
You need a second. I don't know, man. He might need a
sideline reporting or something.
Something.
3 points on this. Isn't there a guy in Golden State that still does a podcast? Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Isn't he playing? It hasn't affected him at all. That's number one. Number two, Clippers never offered Paul George anything near what Paul George was worth if they offered him anything at all. They might have known something was up with Paul George. And number three, Paul George never been healthy, not in the last few years. His knees are shot. And he's still going out there. I give him full credit, but he's not a healthy man. His body is giving out on him. And that's the whole thing, is that he's still putting up 20 points a game, at least the last few games that I've seen, and his knees are just totally gone. The reason the Sixers are not good right now, Embiid's out for the season now. That's number one. And he's got a huge mega contract that I don't think Sixers are ever going to be able to offload. That's number one. Number two, they had that players only meeting early in the season, and Maxey and Embiid basically went at each other. So I don't know if that team is a cohesive team or not. And number three, the guy that should be smoking weed and drinking should be Tyrese Maxey, because he's got no help right now. No help in Philadelphia. He's doing it all on his own. And he's a superstar in the making right now. So, to me, Paul George just is not a healthy man right now. And he may have to be shut down at some point in the next 2 or 3 weeks to get healthy or to have a surgery or something, because he's just not healthy. So the podcast has nothing to do with it. You could do the podcast and still play, but just don't spend a lot of your time into the podcast. Just do the podcast. Worry about the basketball. I think this was an organizational decision. Hey, Paul, shut the podcast down. You need to play.
So what you're trying to say is maybe somebody from the front office might have leaned on him a little and said, "Hey, you could be down here focusing with the guys, but you're out here talking to your friends on camera." You know what I'm saying? That type of thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That's scary to me. That right now, in this moment, the only thing you could think of is telling Paul George not to damn do his podcast. That shit's scary. Like, think about that as a franchise. Like, that's the only thing you could come up with. Hey, Paul, man, can't do that podcast no more. Bruh, what the? Are you serious?
And I don't care. And I don't care what anybody says. Nick Nurse looks like a lost coach right now. He looks like a totally lost coach right now.
No, I'm gonna say something about that too, Scott. Thank you for bringing that up.
Say it in Canada. How many times somebody's had to say that? I should have.
Oh man,
damn.
Alan, man, how you feel about podcast P, man? What you thinking?
First and foremost, I don't want anything positive said about the Clippers on this show because of that. Because you gave away a generational talent in SGA for Paul George, just because he wanted the team with Kawhi Leonard. You gave away a generational player, and now he's got best record in the West in Oklahoma City. Thank you for that, by the way, LA.
The Clippers Stadium is immense.
Don't sound very thankful.
I'm very thankful. I'm having a ball, man. I'm having a ball.
You should love the Clippers, Alan, for what they did for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very should be the only person, the only OKC fan with a Clippers t-shirt on right now.
Yeah,
every day.
Every day.
This, yo.
Well,
thanks, y'all.
What does it say? It only takes one dome owner. I'm pretty sure that's it. There you go.
Wow.
But yeah. literally had a generational talent in their building and gave it away.
They had no clue.
Nah, they were catfish, man. That's all, Alan.
Gotta love Sam Presti. Gotta love Sam Presti. But anyway, yeah, I feel like it's been long overdue for Paul George because it seems like he's just every year as it goes on, he just continues the decline. I mean, we've even seen it. After the first couple years in LA, it just started. Something wasn't right, you know. And I know Kawhi was out all the time. You know, he was always hurt, but it just didn't. Something just didn't set right with Paul George for me when he got to LA. Like he never was the same player when he left OKC. Never was. Whether it was health decline or staying on the court, what have you. That trade is going to kind of look. You gotta look at back and it's like that's the moment when Paul George's career kind of took a 180 turn. Was getting traded to LA.
He ain't been straight since Dame hit that jump on him, man. To be honest.
Again,
further than that,
he
broke his
leg.
leg.
He hurt in Indiana. Wasn't it the Indiana day at one of his last seasons? He got really hurt.
He did Team USA basketball.
Team USA. Yeah.
I'll never forget that day.
Yeah. And that's when his career went. That's when his career started to slowly take the turn for the worse.
Because I still gotta appreciate him, man, for what he does, and that's why we shouldn't be talking about this podcast. Just let the man have his own therapy.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna say this is the only way we'll get Jay to talk about Damian Lillard in a positive light nowadays. Is when we talk about
the organization in Philadelphia is looking for answers, and one of the answers they come up with is, "Hey, Paul, stop with your podcast. You need your teammates. If you're worried about that, I hope you lose the rest of your games this season and don't win another game because you just got you're thinking in the wrong place." So
you literally just shut down Joel Embiid.
Hey, listen, y'all.
Shut down like 2 weeks ago.
Well, look, y'all, we doing it right now. Let's talk about it. So Embiid shuts it down officially. And we're pretty much already running in that space. The state of the Sixers. It's podcast B shuts down the podcast. Joel Embiid officially shuts it down. To me, these types of thought processes should have been happening in like November.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to stop him from doing a podcast, stop him while we're under 500. You know what I'm saying? Stop him while Tyrese Maxey is, burning himself out, basically trying to keep the team afloat with pieces of a team because of course, when they started this season, we had to wait maybe to 24, 25 games before we got Paul George, and then another 3 games before we got Joel Embiid, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And they only played for maybe a week together, and in that week they both sat out simultaneously, cat a quarter, one behind the other. Joel Embiid can't play back to back. So Paul George, you got to play this week with Tyrese. Let's see how you and Tyrese do. Okay, now Tyrese, here goes Embiid, but no Paul. Let's see how that works. Now here goes Embiid and Paul, but no Tyrese. Let's see how that goes. I feel like there was so much going on that it's unfortunate that and Scott brought it up. Nick Nurse is going to get the blame to this. Y'all know what's crazy? This we're going to talk about coaching in a little bit, but all 3. That's right. All 3 coaches who won NBA Coach of the Year from Toronto, Sam Mitchell, Dwayne Casey, and Nick Nurse. All of them got coaching jobs immediately after they left Toronto. None of them are coaches now, except for Nick Nurse. Is Nick Nurse next? That's crazy, right? Look at that alliteration. Is Nick Nurse next in that line of coaches of the year from Toronto who just get, poo-pooed on and then kind of wanders off into oblivion?
Yep. I think this is it for him in Philadelphia. I think he's done after this year. I really do. I just think that they have to find a scapegoat, and the scapegoat's not Paul George, and the scapegoat's not Embiid being shut down. The scapegoat is Nick Nurse. It's always the coach. It's never the players. It's never the GM. It's never any of those guys. It's always who can we get rid of easily? The coach. Bye. See you later. So if Nick Nurse, who has done everything the front office has said in press conferences and has said everything that the front offices wanted him to say, he's going to suffer. And guess what? He'll find another job someplace. He'll be back in coaching, whether it be next year or the year after, whenever it may be. And I just think this Philadelphia 76ers organization is in disarray right now. And my thing is, Embiid should never not play another game until he's 100% healthy. 100%. Not 90%, not 80%, 100%. He should not be back on that court. And that's the 76ers mistake, is they let him play when he was not healthy, and you could see it from day one. He wasn't healthy. He wasn't himself. He wasn't going to play effectively. And they let him go out and play. And it's a shame.
So you basically want him to retire.
This guy's career could be over. It could really be over. His knees could be to his detriment, and he might have to retire because of this. Because I don't know if they'll ever get better. Unfortunately, he's a great talent, but I think he's going to have to retire at some point instead of going through all this knee stuff year after year.
Especially if there's like a damaged nerve or something like that.
Yeah.
A part of it, because you can't come back from that. You can't come back from that. Nerves do not heal. I know from firsthand experience, no pun intended, nerves do not heal. And if there's any kind of damaged nerve or anything like that, he's not going to have a good time trying to play. He's just going to be in constant pain every day, especially in the lower body. If you have that kind of damage to your lower body, you're not going to be able to be yourself pretty much for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
In certain regards to that. This is the whole reason why I never bought in to Philadelphia as much as everybody else did at the beginning of the season. I knew something like this was going to happen. Like Scott said, you could tell just by looking at Joel Embiid. He is not 100% healthy. He is not ready to go yet. The 76ers were like, okay, we'll give you what you want. We'll let you sit a few days, but in certain instances, we're going to need you to be out there on the court. There's a reason why we went and got Paul George, because we thought, we have the team to finally get the job done. And then they started 12, 0-13, something like that at the beginning of the season. The moment that happened, I'm sure everybody in this panel was saying, yeah, there's no way there could be a chance that Philadelphia makes a run, but if Joel Embiid is not 100% healthy, they have no shot. And right now, the process is pretty much dead.
Strong words, Alan. real strong words. Oh, Bobby G, man, it's all you.
I can't add nothing to it. Everybody said it all. The only thing I can say is, from what Scott said, like Embiid, he's never been healthy. He came into the NBA hurt. So remember, I wish he would have been healthy. I wish he would have been healthy coming in, though, because if he'd have been healthy coming in, we'd have won 5 championships in a row. But it wasn't meant to be.
And look, I can add something to it. 59 million, 64 million, and 69 million. That's what you're going to be paying this dude the next 3 years. Man, you have to trade your best player just to get him. I mean, what can you say, man? Like, this is sad, yo. They need to fly this man to Tibet, Thailand, somewhere, and find some miracle doctor. Man, I'll put him on a damn plane tonight, and we out. We going on a search. Like, you saw what they did to Dr. Strange? Like, that's possible, man. Hey, something. We got to do something because, son,
he said Dr. Strange.
Jay. Well, Dr. Kevorkian, too. That's another guy. Jay, who's going to
Andrew Byron was over there trying to figure it out, but he got caught dancing in a hut.
Who's taking
trying to give Joel Embiid a soul punch?
I'm taking
nobody in their right mind. No owner would say to their GM,
something.
Yeah. No owner would say to their GM, "Hey, trade for Embiid. We'll fix him."
Now, I want to jump in. I want to jump in and say this. Now,
only doctor I need right now is feel good.
Two teams.
Whoa,
wait.
Pause.
Whoa. Hey,
I mean,
I'm out on this one.
I mean, that's pretty much what he's saying right now. That's pretty much what he's saying right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You saying it too? That's what's up.
I mean, am I wrong though? That's pretty much what he's saying at this point.
Hey, listen, we see where you're headed to, brother. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, you the thing that I wanted to put out there was one of the main places that are having a conundrum. Yes, welcome. Yes, Big Ron. Thank you. One of the main places that are having a conundrum right now with teams and finances and money that oftentimes has been a second place for rejuvenating careers, but not only in the physical, but also in the physical as in the body. Phoenix. Kevin Durant don't want to be there. He got several big contracts, but the idea is they're going to have to maneuver a couple other people besides KD if you want to swap KD and Embiid. But think about all of the players that went to Phoenix who left their teams prior to injured and ended up having a resurgence in their career. I can name a couple offhand. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The other Jimmy Jackson. Jimmy Jackson was left Dallas.
That medical staff retired 10 years ago.
But they still show love to Phoenix. The name, the feeling is still there. Jimmy Jackson's one, Grant Hill, Shaq, Steve Nash. You know, we saw Steve Nash break his nose in Dallas or in Phoenix. I don't know what kind of nose Steve Nash got now. It's better than Michael Jackson ever knows.
But here's the deal that these GMs and teams, they're going to need to see Embiid play a full season healthy before they even trade for him.
No, they don't. They need to do the Kawhi Leonard. They need to do the Kawhi Leonard thought process and say, I know you're good for 35 games. Which 35 don't want? The 35 at the beginning of the season, the 35 at the end. I'm going to sprinkle you some here before Christmas and make everybody happy. Then I want you ready for the playoffs. I just need to have a decent enough team. Who was on?
Hell no, bro. If I'm taking Embiid, you're giving me 3 draft picks.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you the draft picks, but the thing, this is what it was. We were on the show, and we were saying, and I was telling you guys, I was watching the Discovery Channel, and they were showing the whatever Microsoft program, like they got that shows pressure points in your body, and they was watching the dude do Tai Chi, and who comes on the screen? None other than Steve Ballmer, who is processing this information, and they use the same type of information to plot when you're in the stadium standing up and cheering and who's got the. So they did. In my mind, they're doing the same thing for Kawhi. Right now, the Lakers and the Clippers are playing. They planned on Kawhi and LeBron going at it in that new arena for years to come. It's not happening necessarily the same way, but they sat him down and said, hey, we know your needs are only going to be good for this amount of time. This is how we plotted it out. We've been watching your gait. We've been watching how you walk. We know after 2 games, you walk this way. After the game of rest, you walk that way. Your pressure's on this knee, not that knee. X, Y, Z. Here goes all the stuff. Microsoft did it. Thank you, Thank you, Copilot. Thank you, Chat GPT. They should do the same thing for Joel Embiid.
That seems way too much work to get Embiid on my team. That seems way too much work.
But the point is, somebody like if you know the teams that have this type of electronic capability, one of them is the Clippers, and then the other one would be the medical team, which is heavily involved in Phoenix.
You know what they all have in common?
Losing organization.
Yeah, they all trash. They're all trash. All those advances in medicine, you're all trash because your players can't play.
I said this earlier. It only takes one dumb owner.
Oh, it takes one.
I do agree with Whit. That would be in Phoenix because this guy said, hey, we get this Embiid name in here after we have to trade Durant and we'll get the fans back and we'll get to the playoffs every year. Well, guess what? Yeah. When Embiid only plays 20 games for you, he ain't getting to the playoffs. So
and still don't have a point guard.
They listen, but the thing is, right now, and this is one of those things that everybody's heard me say it right now. Right now, Phoenix is waking up the career of Bol. I don't know if y'all been seeing Bol in the streets lately, but they have been letting him play and not asking him to play center. They've been just letting him play, and Bol is waking up. I don't need Embiid all day, all night. I need Bol and Embiid to swap out maybe in next season in Phoenix. That's it. Hey, you know what? Matter of fact, guys, we at the top of that first hour. I just want to thank everybody for showing up right now for the In the Hoop. You know, right now it's RecRoom, man. We passionate about basketball. We talking hoops. This is what we do. Of course, we got the whole gang in the building today. We got AP, we got Alan. Normally, Alan, you got shows during the week. Alan, what shows do you have on the LTS network, which I enjoy watching you and Sam? Tell us about those two shows, bro.
Hang on, let me get my list out.
Yeah, it might be easier for shows that he doesn't have than shows he has.
Yeah.
Right?
How much work do you do?
So on the mat every Tuesday night and also every Saturday night. Tuesday night's usually just me and Sam. Saturday night, we've incorporated our wise man, Scott Cobe, joins us on Saturdays. Wednesday, baseball show with myself, Scott, and Jonathan Chrisman. We're kicking into high gear. We won't be having a show this week, but in a couple weeks, we're going to be starting our official previews for the 2025 season. So check those out. And then I'm on Lock It In with Scott Tanner every Saturday. And then, yeah, pretty much it for right now anyway. I'm sure there'll be a couple more coming down the pipeline.
For sure. Hey, Uncle Scott, man, we know you are a busy man. What's your normal weekly schedule look like?
LTS show just on Mondays right now, since the seasons are the football season is over and we're just heading into playoff season for that. Lock It In on the weekends. Wednesday night baseball show. The reason there's no baseball show is because the nurses told me I have to stay off the internet Wednesday, so can't get on. So, and then the wrestling show on Saturday, and then whenever I can make an appearance on the RecRoom Sports, I'm more than welcome to do it. So that's my week. And what's on mute?
Yeah. You best believe we appreciate you hanging with the gang, Uncle Scott. Thanks so much for stopping through. Hey, Bobby G, man, you one of the hardest working brothers on the internet, man. What you got cooking with Audible during the week?
Obviously you got Friday, where sports meets life and culture. Today I solved the NFL Combine problem. I gave them a new format to follow, see if they do it. And Tuesdays, obviously, hanging out with y'all on the regular RecRoom show. And then Thursdays, man, Audible Reacts. What did we do yesterday? Oh, yeah, yesterday. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We had a system crash, but still had fun. We recasted The Best Man and Menace to Society.
I caught the tail end of that.
So, yeah, it was fun.
Dwayne Johnson was in there someplace.
Because of what he's doing right now, Scott. Because of what he's doing right now.
No. And you had to watch the show in the comments. Then
it was hilarious. Yeah, the wise man showed up. Uncle Scott was in the comments getting loose. The Rock didn't make the cut, unfortunately. But
it's all right.
Hey, some good suggestions on some cast members. We had to do it again. We're always looking for stuff to do. So anybody got some suggestions on anything they want us to watch or a movie they want us to review or recast, hey, just hit us on social media, man.
Yes, sir. That's what's up. Now I know we all know Jay and I normally work together alongside one another. So of course we got a lot of things cooking coming up. But this next topic, oh man. Matter of fact, I'm just let y'all know. So Jay, Tuesdays, 9:30, we do the RecRoom Sports Show. Fridays, we do this show. But today, my brother, it's your time, man. That's right. Because you know why? The other day, the dunk of the year possibly was thrown down by a Blazers player, bro. Come on, man. Talk about the Blazers for us real quick, man. It's happening right now, dog. It's your time. Don't let the people sleep. Wake them up. Tell them what's really going down. What's really good at Portland, son?
Well, nothing. I mean, look, I'm gonna keep it that way, and it's gonna stay that way. And right now, we are 7 games from 500. Man, I do not like having this conversation. Can you just leave us alone? Yes, there was a great dunk by a bench player who happened to score 36 points. Why is he coming off the bench? I don't know what's going on right now in Portland, but guess what? Like Chauncey, I can't. Nah, man. I'm taking the Washington approach with this. I didn't speak about my team. I just watched. I just watched and I prayed. That's all I can do. Just watch and pray. So right now, I'm just doing is watching and praying. That was a beautiful dunk. Yes, like we're probably having one of the best like turnarounds in NBA history for like 40 something years. But you let other people tell it, we still have a losing record. So I'm quiet right now. I have nothing to say. But starting from 13 and 28 to 26 and 33.
27.
Oh yeah,
You
I'm
won.
sorry.
You
Yeah,
won tonight.
tonight.
You won
Right.
tonight.
We won tonight. We are 6 games. I keep telling myself we are 6 games out of 500. And here we are. I don't know, man. Like we've always been a great team. We played well, man. We're starting to like kind of resemble those deep teams that we used to have, from 1 to 9, 1 to 10. Pretty much we rotated well. We always had somebody. Right now we have some great defensive players. Even though Aiton's been out for a little while, Klingen's getting his, and he's a little spotty here and there, but he's been having some double doubles. He's been playing well. I'm just, man, I don't know, man. Like I don't want to get caught up. Every time I start talking about the record, it goes back down. We was last, I think, after the turnaround, I think that we had right before the All-Star break. I think we lost the first 3 games out of 4 games out of All-Star break, something like that. Three games. But I don't know. Every time I get my attention to the record and I start paying attention to what they're doing, as far as like night in and night out, the type of effort I've been watching is just that I don't want to talk about it because every time I talk about it, every time I look forward to another win, we lose. So
I mean,
I
hopefully
had a
y'all
different
start the
approach.
month off strong.
I mean, maybe we will. But I love what Chauncey is doing. It really, I mean, it's kind of an embarrassment of riches in a way, even though we're not playing well. But he has some great young talent, and to be able to figure out these rotations, keep these guys in check, for the way he's been doing. Kudos to him, but I want to see him succeed. I want to see us like make it. We are 4.5 games out of 10th place. 4.5 games out. Hopefully, when you look at something as crazy as what we saw last night, as far as the dunk is concerned, hopefully it turns things around. Hopefully, it does not get these young guys like too bent on like, hey, let's try and get another highlight so we can watch on TV tonight. You know? So we I don't know. All's well ends well. We'll see what happens. We doing well. Shaden Sharp, he's a baller, man. We got a bunch of them. It's starting to look like I said. We're starting to look like the older teams where a lot of people. We got. If I go through my rotation, these rotations, you wouldn't even know what I'm talking about. People don't know about Kamara. People don't know about even Scoop. You know what I mean? The way they play him. Um, there's a lot of unknowns, man, on this team. We don't get on TV much, so if we do make it to the playoffs, then that's be everybody's crash course into like the baby Blazers, and there we go.
Hey man, I want to give a big shout out to Donovan Klingen. A lot of people was criticizing his game coming into this season.
Yeah,
They was giving him a lot of flack, of course, because it didn't look like he had the type of game to translate into the NBA. But I've heard it said a million times: you can't teach big. You can't rate height. You can't rate size. And he's been coming in and giving y'all some solid minutes. So kudos. And I didn't even know Denny Avdia was on the bench somewhere.
Yeah, like we snatched them up from Washington?
Yeah, y'all know Denny Avdia, like the Croatian sensation or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. He got some
and
crazy.
he's getting burned, like he's getting playing time. Like
Mm-hmm.
the rotation is crazy. Like you look at this team, we are physically imposing. With Aiden and Klingen, we just gotta, you
Is
should be
Robert Williams
thanking
out
us.
right now?
That's been the struggle. It's been since Aiton's been out. He went straight to Williams. He kind of been inconsistent when letting Klingon play. Just throwing, Williams out there because he's a veteran, so he got kind of caught up in that. And like people are kind of like getting on him now about that. Like, man, you should be letting Klingon just get his lumps, figure it out. He's gonna have his bad games. He's a rookie. 21 and 20 last outings. You don't really teach that too much. So, just let him go, man. Let him have his bad games. Let him learn from it. But yeah, he's playing. Robert Williams is playing.
Yeah, for sure. And the crazy thing is, we want to see young teams work out because Allen's example, of course, is his favorite team right now.
Nobody cares, man. They should be thanking us. They should be thanking us. You should be thanking us.
Yes, there you go.
You should be thanking us. Get it?
Oh, by the way, who did they play? Who do we play next on Sunday? Oh, that's right, at Cleveland. Have fun.
Oh
Should
man,
be thanking us, man.
Oh man.
Actually, they might win that game.
Yeah, Cleveland's
their next four games are at Cleveland, at Philly, at Boston, and then next Friday night at Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
Boston's
that's
not a place to play.
Donovan's probably not going to play Sunday.
Yeah,
Boston's an away team. Boston will beat you at your house.
Boston at home is a totally different animal right now.
Right. Boston like playing in your house and beating you. That's how they get down. Anyway, man, so we doing really good right here going into the second hour. Say big shouts out to the Jay and the Blazers. We're gonna be keeping our eye on that. And one thing we like to do, of course, is talk about the young upstart teams because we get a lot. A lot of comments have been discussed over the past couple of days about how we people get nostalgic and we don't give enough props to young. We'll get into that too. But right now, I want to talk about a little something. Let's talk about Detroit basketball.
I'm out. I hate the Pistons. I'm out. See you later.
So yeah, man, Detroit basketball, man. Pistons 8-game win streak. It ended tonight. I had to change it because, of course, they ran into a brick wall, which is the Denver Nuggets. But hey, Detroit 8-game win streak in the Eastern Conference, a little bit in the West, sprinkled in some really good contention, and bam, look at that! Somehow, some way, we get a team which, at one point in time last season, was on the worst win streak for I think ever. Period. I really think that if I want to say if I'm correct, if I'm not correct, somebody check me for on that one. But I want to say the 28-game win streak was the worst ever, and I swear that they just was taking losses crazy back to back last year. But it's one of those things to see a young upstart team revisit, some of what brought them into the limelight as as being contenders. And I'm excited to see what they do going forward. One of the things that we will eventually discuss is coaching, but let's just concentrate on the players right now. As we look at Jalen Duren, Dennis Schroeder, who got traded from 4 or 5 different teams and ends up on the Detroit Pistons. We got Alanis Williams, Tobias Harris, who of course is giving them a strong veteran presence, which we did not know he was going to be, out there like that. The Asur Thompson, of course, out there playing defense and rebounding, and then everybody needs every Detroit team needs a goon or a gooner or a thug or there are several different things that you want to call this type of player, but we don't really like that terminology anymore in this world of NBA. But we got one, or they have one in Detroit, and Isaiah Stewart, and then of course you got to have a six man, somebody come off the bench and ignite the scoring and the defensive presence when the stars are on the bench, and they got one in Beasley and Malik Beasley. And it's crazy because Malik Beasley been hopping from team to team for the last 4 seasons. I swear, couldn't get his feet up under him, but now finds his way to Detroit and finds a home. What can we attribute the new look Detroit Pistons and their winning to? We'll get into a couple of different things after this one, but we want to say coaching, players, building the foundation. Let's start right there at the top, man. Scott, what you think?
I think that Detroit being so bad for so long, they've drafted really good. Cade Cunningham is the real deal, without question. Jalen Duran is their rebounding. They've built their team a lot like the Celtics built their teams when they first started, which is a lot of players. They built stability at every position, and then they went out free agency and signed under the radar guys and brought them in. Like the Celtics signed, they got Derek White in a trade with the Spurs. They just brought under the radar guys into their organization and have molded them with the younger talent, and they've all come along, and this is the results, the fruits of their labor right now. Plus, you brought a coach in that from Cleveland last year who took the Cavs to the second round along with those players. He knew how to win. He knew how to bring a team along, and in Bickerstaff, he has built a team and brought him along slowly, where last year they were bad, but the goal was be bad last year and be better this year. And they're a young team, and they don't know any better right now. They really don't. So they're going to beat the Knicks in the first round if that's the matchup. I feel really strongly about it. I think the Pistons are that team in the East that nobody wants to play right now. And I think that the Knicks will go down in the first round, 6 or 7 game series, because I think the Cavs have more energy, more focus. I think the Knicks Thibodeau just grinds that team down. So right now it's Knicks Pistons in the first round. I think the Pistons are going to win that series. I just think that young team has come along to a point where, as you saw it last Wednesday night, they beat the Celtics by 20 in Detroit. And then we just said the Celtics have been a great road team. Well, guess what? Detroit decided that because Cunningham was a beast, Duran was a beast on the boards, and Malik Beasley brings that outside shooting presence that any team needs. And he frees up Cunningham and Duran underneath to do what they need to do. So I'm really high on the Pistons. I don't think this is a fluke. I think this is a team that can stick around because of what they built, the pieces that they've drafted and brought in via free agency. So I'm excited to see what they do in the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, definitely. You summed it up right there. It's started from the draft, and it's been built over time, and it's built with the young guys and an inflection of some key veterans. Bobby G, you on the same train when it comes to the Pistons thing?
I'm gonna go 90% coach, and the only reason I say that is because I've literally been watching it the last 4 years. Remember, JB Bickerstaff took over for John Beeline. We hired John Beeline, and he was absolutely terrible. And so we got him up out of here, because the players just, he needed to stay in college. And JB Bickerstaff took over this young team that had promise. And if you just line up the Cavs and the Pistons, it's literally a mirror image. Darius Garland made his first All-Star team under JB Bickerstaff. Cade Cunningham made his first All-Star game under JB Bickerstaff. We had won 28 something games the year JB took over mid-season, and his first full season, we finished as the 7th seed. You look at the Pistons; they're in that same range, 6-7. Like, this is, people say like, this is what I do. This is what JB does. If you got a young team that needs to learn how to get it together, basically learn how to play basketball, he's your man. The question for me for Detroit is going to be 2 seasons from now, 3 seasons from now, where are you going to be? Because that's where we found ourselves. Just falling short. And my question for JB is going to be, did he learn the lessons in Cleveland that are going to allow him to take the next steps as a head coach? Because if he does, they're really going to have something in Detroit.
No lie. You hit the nail on the head with that one. If he learned something from his coaching mistakes in Cleveland, the next big step in Detroit is in the Eastern Conference, especially in the Eastern Conference. If they make
that's gotta hurt his heart. Look, like you're in the same division and looking what these guys, they're the best team, and you're like,
I just was there.
Why couldn't I do that?
Right, I just was there. It's the same people. You know what I'm saying? The same roster. It's only a few people different. Yep, same thing, Alan. We looking at Detroit basketball in a different light.
A little bit. That's definitely been probably the biggest surprise of the NBA this year. Nobody really expected them to be in and around 500 or even above 500 at this point in the season. Yet here they are, 5 games above 500. They're the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference right now, flirting around with that 5th seed. Kind of been swapping back and forth with them in Milwaukee lately. So, I kind of agree with Scott. If I'm any team in the Eastern Conference right now, I do not want to see Detroit in the playoffs, because you're probably going to get a 6-7 game series from Detroit, regardless of who you're playing. So I love, yeah. We'll see about that.
Only because we know everything they're going to do. So that's the only reason.
That is true. But Detroit's been fun to watch. I love watching Cade Cunningham. I'm obviously, since seen him in college at Oklahoma State for the couple of years he was here. He was phenomenal then. We're finally starting to see that level of talent in Detroit now over the last couple of years. We knew he had it. It's just you needed somebody to unlock that talent, to unlock that superstar talent. And I agree with Bobby on the fact that the coach has been a big part of him finally becoming that star we all thought he was going to be when he first got into the league a few years ago. And they're finally meshing well. All these players that they've brought together, and you mentioned the guys that they brought in, the undervalued, the under the radar guys that they brought in. It's finally meshing well. They're finally meshing well. They're finally starting to play team and cohesive basketball to the point, again, where they're winning games. And they're not just beating, the teams on their level, or the teams. They're challenging teams like the Celtics. They're challenging teams like the Cavaliers. They're challenging teams like the Knicks. Are they going to win? Are they going to go to the NBA Finals this year? Probably not. Are they going to make it hard for these teams to get through to the next round if they face them? Probably, most definitely. This is a fun team to watch, and it's been a long time since we've been able to say that about the Pistons. So I'm happy for those guys.
We haven't seen anything since 2008.
Since they lost to the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals with Jefferson and Chauncey. That was the last time.
It was the last time we've seen them win 8 games in a row. I look, just pretty much agreeing with everybody else said when the hire was made, when they went through the coaches that they've been through, we always thought Bickerstaff was gonna, wherever he's going, he's improving the team. Man, just him being, I guess, a kid of the old guard, if that makes sense. With his pops and getting some of those values of I guess X's and O's, how he approaches the game. I really appreciate watching someone who some would probably consider a retread in the NBA as a coach. See one of his sons actually do what he's doing, how he's doing it. I'm loving that. Um, as far as them like being 500, like with the talent that they brought in, with the type of talent that Cade was, you have to expect them to be over 500 in the Eastern Conference. All right, there's no way you about to draft that player, and in what year 2 and 3 you like, oh well, we still gotta climb up. Nah, that even shouldn't be the case. So I think they're right on schedule. I just feel like the path they took last season was a bit misguided, but they on track now. You know what I mean? I just think that's all I can add on to it. With them being a 6 seed, possibly being higher, I think they have a good chance to at least, depending on the matchup, they're gonna win some games in the playoffs. I really think they can win some games in the playoffs. And again, depending on who they play. Um, and we still have some weeks to go, weeks and weeks. So, teams will still get hot and they can get blown out the gym. You know what I'm saying? But I just really feel like what they've been putting forward so far, and them having that kind of guy that you would want to go into the playoffs with as that goon, as that guy that will, take a foul and even, ruffle some feathers if he has to. I think they sort of have a good formula for a good start and could at least win a game or two in the playoff. But that's still yet to be seen.
Hey man, you said it, bro. That it's a difference in the playoffs when you got one of them goons on the team, man, and you got your head on the swivel and you're wondering. I know he coming off of one of these screens. Where's he at? And he just clobber you. You know what I'm saying, in the paint for trying to come in there too often. Draymond Green did it. Hey, so Isaiah is gonna, shout out to him. I think if I'm not mistaken, since he missed his bobblehead night, they redid his bobblehead night once he came back from his suspension earlier this season. Shout out to Isaiah Stewart. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, man, these next two topics we're not going to spend very much time on because we are in the middle of the second half hour. We got a couple other things we want to get into, but let's talk about some of the old heads in the league, man. I'm talking about old heads making noise. But these are two of the more prominent old heads. Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. We're gonna talk about Steph and LeBron. Real easy, right? So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Steph's 50 burger was open late last night. That's right, in Orlando. Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. Yeah, that's right. Steph bought the Magic as he went for 12 different times. Well, excuse me. 15 different times, but hit 12, two away from his used to be Splash Brothers all-time record of 14 threes in the game. That's right. So he hit 12. I'm looking, if I'm not mistaken, with a distance of about 27 and a half feet, which is 2 feet behind the three-point line, is the average distance of when he shot. So let's just say Steph was pulling up from the parking lot, okay, the entire game. And for him to get to 56, he showed a little more than just the outside game. He showed some of that inside game too. This time with the trade having had happen, Uncle Jimmy didn't do too much, but he didn't have to. He had Steph going off. I don't know if you guys have ever played 2K, but y'all remember NBA Jam? When he's on fire, you're dribbling the basketball's on fire. Every time you shoot it, it goes to the net, it blows up. That's pretty much what was going on this past night with Stephen Curry. And then we got a chance to witness Luka and the Lakers. Notice how I said Luka and the Lakers loving La La Land. I didn't say LeBron. So this time we got an opportunity to see Luka Doncic go up against his old team, the Dallas Mavericks, in Los Angeles, where he did get a chance to put up a triple double. LeBron went for a nice 30 burger that game, and somehow, some way, we get to see how it looks when LeBron isn't the best player on the court for his team. Almost reminiscent of how he was in Miami, or for a quick second in Cleveland, right? So when we do that type of math with these two, superstars who are on the other half of their careers, they're on the back stretches, so to speak. With this sample size, who has the highest ceiling post trade deadline? The Lakers or the Warriors? Now we've all seen, the Warriors somewhat go through a little, not the Warriors, but the Lakers go through a little bit of up and down. I think the Warriors, if I'm not mistaken, only have lost one game since Jimmy Butler's been traded. Which one are we more confident in? And this is just a quick one, guys. You don't really have to go too hard on this one. Alan, what about you, man? Who are you more confident in, the Warriors or the Lakers?
I mean, if you forced me to pick, I would probably say Golden State because I think you can draw a young and experienced Houston team in the postseason and maybe not easily take that series, but make it harder for them. Whereas the Lakers, if you draw Denver again, you're not getting out of the first round. I'm sorry to all Lakers fans, but if I had to choose, I'd probably say Golden State right now.
All right, yes, you saw. We're gonna start off with that one. Bobby G, with what it looks like, how you feeling about the Warriors and the Lakers? Which one you think got the further ceiling, biggest ceiling?
Who took their team to the finals last year?
Yeah, Luka.
Defense rest.
Real smooth. Uncle Scott, what you got on this one?
It's the Lakers. The Lakers are a game and a half out of the number 2 seed in the West. Golden State is still locked into the play-in. The Lakers could be playing Golden State in the first round. What Luka has done for LeBron is he's freed LeBron up on the court, and Austin Reeves too, because teams now have to defend Luka. Because if you don't defend Luka, Luka's going to score 30. If you defend Luka, then LeBron's going to score 30, or Austin Reeves is going to score 30. LeBron looks like he's 30 years old right now. It's the Lakers, and it isn't even a question to me.
Wow. Jay, I know you were probably able to hear, but me and you were on the phone last night when this 50 burger was being cooked. Who you feel has the highest ceiling right now of our two aging superstars?
I'm gonna be honest. So I don't know. I kind of look at that question a little different because when you look at the highest ceiling, you kind of look at where they came from, and you can still put the Lakers in the playoffs even without this trade.
Mm-hmm.
The Warriors, I don't know. So I'm going to say the Warriors because they got it from the mud, and they're going to need playoff Jimmy, and they're going to still need a little something. But from where they came from, I'm definitely going with the Warriors at the highest ceiling because of where they came from. The Lakers, they were expected to make the playoffs.
Get some pushback. Or actually, let me give you something else to think about. I ain't say pushback. Because I actually like the point you made. That's a fair assessment. Let me ask you this though. You're absolutely right. You could have put the Lakers in the playoffs. If the Lakers made the finals, would that surprise you right now?
No.
If the Lakers would have made the finals before this trade, would that have surprised you?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Before the trade?
It would have.
It wouldn't because they still have LeBron James. Like, I put it like this. We still haven't gotten to that. We still, as much as we've been expecting it, we still haven't got to that stage where we getting these buyouts and we getting these guys throwing on these teams last second. So, like, we were just having this conversation. I guess we'll get into that later, but that is something that I'm looking forward to that still could weigh heavy on some teams. Somebody getting bought out. So who's to say that they couldn't have picked up somebody that could have just got them through? When you look at Finney Smith and like you wouldn't expect that out of them. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's LeBron James out there passing on the ball. It's a little different when you got LBJ out there passing. I'm just gonna be honest. It's just a little different.
And keep that same energy right there because, and I'm gonna appease all my freaking Jordan stands out there. Just put this on your brain. The second best player on my team is the second greatest player in the history of basketball.
Yeah, that
don't even sound fair, bro.
It doesn't. But
the second best player on my team.
When you talking about before this trade, you still talking about them having AD and LeBron. So like, it can be done. You know, I really think Hachimura, like, we are not really taking into like he's gonna come up big, whether we like it or not. I just really feel like there's a lot. You got Austin. There's a lot of things that's already there that just need to be activated. And when you get a little fogged up with this Bronny, instead of what it should have been focused on, you know what I mean? I'm not saying he's a part of the team, but I just think that some of the focus kind of went away with this Bronny thing. And I just feel that it wouldn't surprise me. They just would have had to pick the right path and how to take it. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Not given, but again, still not a surprise.
But here's the other thing too, and I'll piggyback on. I've been a coach. I was a coach for years. I look at defensive assignments. If there's no Luka there, then Shea goes on Austin Reeves, Lou Dort goes on LeBron, and they control him. Now Shea's got to go on Luka. Dort goes on LeBron. That leaves Austin Reeves free. Before the trade, OKC had a distinct advantage on the court. Now, after the trade, if it's OKC and the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, I think that advantage is null and void. And I think the Lakers now push themselves up to make it a 6 or a 7 game series. And I would not be shocked if the Lakers win it. So one of those
my fault. Go ahead.
If one of those OKC defenders has 1 or 2 off nights, that costs them the game. That'll cost them the series, and the Lakers are in the finals.
But their defensive efficiency improved before Luka. That's the whole thing. Like, I was listening to you, but you have to keep in play here. Their defensive efficiency improved before they got Luka.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, agreed. Well, I'm talking on the OKC side. I'm not talking on the Lakers side. I'm talking OKC against the Lakers.
Yeah, I think defensively, we still haven't seen what all they can put out there. I just really think it's still a work in progress to say that it's going to be some matchups and this and that. I just feel like even if they were just terrible on defense, they were a great offensive team. Yes. That's a done deal. What you're saying is just flat out, just correct all the way. But then when you have an improvement so late in the season, before you add such a big piece, which could still offset it and probably send it backwards.
Yeah.
Thinking about who we're talking about here.
Agreed.
I still think we still the jury's still out, because if they're making an improvement and he's playing better, I honestly, people talking about when the last time we've sprinted, I seen Luka run the fastest I've seen him run in a very long time. A couple, and it's just something to look at. We'll see what the defensive energy looks like going into this final run. But you made a good point. That's a very touchy subject because of the fact that they made such an improvement even before they got him.
Hey man, you hit the nail on the head for me. I was just about to say, one of the things I wanted to take into context before we move on was, I asked about the ceiling, but where was the floor for both of these teams before the trades happened? Where were we on the ground level? Were we, in the dirt? Like, to a degree, to a degree, the Warriors were in a place of befuddlement. You know what I'm saying? They were disheveled completely. They were unhinged. We were thinking, oh my God, we don't want to see Steph Curry go out like this. Then they're injected with some Jimmy Butler, and now we're talking about them, being awake and alive. The the monster of Frankenstein, so to speak. I really really can't say enough to what I think the Lakers can do. But what I'm gonna finish it with before we move on is just imagine if they would have got Buddy from North Carolina from the Hornets, and they would have had a paint presence to go along with all of this fun stuff they got going on right now. If I don't, you know what I'm saying? In my mind, and my thing is this, right? And we're gonna move forward, right? What was going on with him when he came to LA and couldn't pass the physical, but then turn around and is starting again in Charlotte, like that same week?
Well, that's the crazy thing about the NBA, which I wish they changed. If you actually, in a sense, have the same injury that you actually registered, but I guess you could, use the word registered with while you had, with this team before you got traded. If it's something that kind of like doesn't, like it wasn't disclosed or it wasn't put out to be as serious as they thought it was, then when those doctors take a look and they find something like, hey man, now that could be the case. I'm not saying that's what happened in his case. Or he could have just, hey, he could have faced one before he went into the training facility. They was like,
Yeah,
nah, dog.
yeah. He could have blew it. He could have blew.
Nah,
That's
dog.
yeah. I hate to feel like that. I feel like he's a young man. He's a young man. He was like, yo, I'm out. I'm out, son. I'm going to LA and got in LA and went to the cookie store and thought that he would just walk in and pass the physical.
Wait,
and it was like, sir, no, sir, you can't.
wait a minute. I gotta take a physical. No, I had to
Exactly. I was in Vegas last night. I got to take a physical. I'm not pissing for y'all. I'm not. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? You want me to pull my pants down? What are we doing? What are we doing here? I'm good. Don't you see me? I'm dressed. I'm ready to go. Ready to play with LeBron. He walked. You know what I'm saying? He walked in the door. Look at me. Don't I look like I can play with LeBron? I can play with LeBron right now. They did work.
The last thing I'll say on this subject is the Western Conference second round playoffs could be Golden State against the Lakers. The way the seedings are looking right now could very well.
Isn't there, as you look at them, Scott? Isn't there some way that we can have Mavs Lakers like 4 or 5 or something like that?
Well, the Mavs are stuck in the play-in. There's no way they're getting out of that. Golden State is only half a game in back of the Clippers for the 6th seed. If the Lakers were to move up to the 2nd seed, and they're only a game behind Denver, a game and a half, then the second round would be Lakers Golden State if Golden State beats Memphis. So,
and that's
the first round. The first round, the Lakers could be playing the Dallas Mavericks.
That's a sticky one. That's a sticky one still. And let's not forget, we're talking about young teams, y'all. Memphis right now, the number 1 scoring offense in the league. Ja Morant going crazy. He's got his concealed weapons permit, so can't nobody talk about him now. Okay. Anyway,
that is literally my only concern with the Lakers right now is they don't.
I thought that was your only concern with Ja Morant is that he's still strapped.
And I think if Memphis were to play Golden State in the playoffs, I think Golden State has the superior advantage in experience in the playoffs.
Yeah, the experience what I think would be what would pretty much work on that one. But I still think it would be like one of those 7-game we got to watch this like every night type series for sure. All right, so we getting closer to the end of the second hour, guys. I appreciate everybody being locked in. This is the RecRoom Sports in the Hoop Show. That's right, where we talk NBA, all things NBA, and more. And we're getting to the end of the show, so we're gonna do something a little fun. Our guy Bobby G had an idea about a week ago. I think we were just running so much crammed up on time that we couldn't include it. So we're gonna do it this week, right? It's the RecRoom way too early in the hoop superlatives. Okay. Way too early. We know. I don't want to hear, oh, they got the rest of the season to play. Oh, he could get hurt. Oh, the team could turn it around. I don't care. Right now, we looking just at plain as day. What do we got? Who is where? And Uncle Scott, I'm gonna need you because I am going to share some FanDuel props on the screen. I want you to kick them for us in just
Okay.
a moment. Do a little 1-2 because I was like, man.
Alan, you can help out as well too. Since
Yes, Alan. Yes, as you two are both on the Rec Room Sports Lock It In show with our guy Tanner Dawson. I thought I tried to get Tan Man on, but I know
Bobby
he said
texted me off the show and said if Alan picks any Oklahoma City players or coaches, you have to take them off the show immediately.
you got to take him off.
No. That's only if I pick LSU, Scott.
Oh, that's true. No, Jonathan Grisham will be here then.
Oh man. Okay, so we're just going to do some of the good futures, just for kicks right now. So we're going to start off with Coach of the Year. Now, FanDuel, if I am not mistaken, does not have Coach of the Year props. Do they? Okay, yes, they do. All right, so I'm going to share those. Bang. Oh, wait a minute. Give me 1 second. I got to click on. There we go. All right. And as we see, right here at the top, we got Kenny Atkinson, head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. J.D. Bickerstaff running at a close second at plus 700. Taylor Jenkins for the Grizzlies at plus 5,000. Ime Udoka for the Rockets at plus 5,000. Everybody is pretty much plus 5,000 after that. J.J. Redick and Mark Daigneault from the Thunder. Now, Scott, for the novices watching at home, plus 5,000 means what in terms of money wise? Like we put 100, we get how much back if they would have win?
So the easiest way to do it is this: if you put $1 on plus 5,000, you make 500.
I don't feel like that's a bad idea. I mean, we might have to do a little fan dueling. Okay, so as we look at the props, gentlemen,
to me, there's only two guys in my mind, and it's Atkinson and Bickerstaff that are coaches of the year. The Thunder had way too much talent. They were expected to be here. The Pistons, nobody knew about. They're a surprise team. And the Cavaliers, they're so dominant right now, 49-10. You have to give the guy consideration. If I'm a bettor, I am not touching Kenny Atkinson. That's minus 850. You can't touch him. You're not going to get any money back on your investment. So to me, I'd go JB Bickerstaff at plus 750 because the Pistons were nowhere. Nobody expected them to be here. If they win 50 games this year, that's far and away what anybody thought they could possibly do. So to me, my vote as a bettor would go to JB Bickerstaff because I'm getting more money back on my investment. Kenny Atkinson and the Cavs, they're going to win 65 games. I'm fairly confident they're going to win 65 games. So he might even go up to minus 1,000 before all is said and done. So again, my vote would be either one of the top two, but I'm going Bickerstaff for a value purpose. So that's
okay.
where I'm.
So check this out, Uncle Scott. So if I'm thinking, if I put $50 on JB Bickerstaff right now with the plus 750, that's like a lot of money. Am I right?
Yeah, that is. That's a lot of money. Yeah.
Okay. $37,500, you guys. That's right. We could get bets like this every time, each weekend on Lock It In with our guy Scott Cole.
And the other thing is I would split my money up. If I have $100 to vote on this, I would split my money up probably two ways. I'd go Bickerstaff, and I would probably go Taylor Jenkins of the Grizzlies plus 5,000. I don't think the Grizzlies, even if they were somehow to get the number 2 seed, because Oklahoma City is going to be the number 1. We're all on that. But again, Memphis had a down year last year. And for them to come out of nowhere and to be this good, that says a lot about him. So I would split $50 between Bickerstaff and Taylor Jenkins as my 2 coaches of the year. And that's what I would.
I like it. Alan, as you look at the props right there, these futures for Coach of the Year, Uncle Scott just gave us the play. You agree?
100%. 100%, especially Bickerstaff. He's definitely in my mind, he's Coach of the Year right now. I know, what Cleveland's doing is special, but no one expected Detroit to be this good this year. So JB Bickerstaff is my coach of the year right now. If I had a choice, and I 100% agree with Scott.
Might just have to just jump on FanDuel and put that 50 on there, bro, because that could really help out right about now. Bobby G, I know you feel a certain way about Cleveland. That's where your heart is and everything. When we looking at these futures, man, what is your thought process?
I mean, if I'm laying money on it today, I'm with Scott. I do the Bickerstaff thing, even though I believe Kenny will win.
Yeah, I think Kenny's going to win. I think
however, we have a 7-game road trip at the end of this month, West Coast trip. That to me will determine whether he wins or loses. I knew we had 2 tough stretches post All-Star. Right now, when I knew we had Knicks, Orlando, Boston, who else we play? Memphis. And I'm like, if we can come out of that 4-1, 3-2, I'm good. We won them all. But at the end of the month, we got a West Coast trip where we go Clippers and Sacramento back to back, Phoenix, Utah, Portland, and then come back home for the Spurs, which ain't looking so bad now that Wemby's out, and follow that up with the Pistons. Yeah. If we go like if that 1, 2, 3, if we come out of that road trip like 2-3, which is possible, and then follow that up and lose to the Pistons at home, JB's gonna get it. But if we come out of that road trip like 4-1 and then beat the Pistons, take all your money, put it on Kenny. He's gonna lock it up because we'll probably lock up the division the week after that. Or I mean, wrap up the conference the week after that, and we'll have to see where we are with OKC on whether we're chasing home court throughout. So today I put it on JB. At the end of the month, watch that trip. We come out of that trip 4-1. Yeah, Kenny's gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
I think that you just now told me something, Bobby, right there. That West Coast trip is definitely going to mean a lot to see what you guys can produce as the Cleveland Cavaliers take 7 games, and even if you break a clean 500 out that way, I think that would definitely, show something.
Our first one was cool. We had Utah, Denver, Golden State, Lakers, and Dallas. We won them all.
Right.
But that was early in the season. This one, of course, the teams aren't that. But still, I mean, it's fact, like road trips are different. They're unpredictable. So
right.
Yep.
Well, as we move along here, let's do a little something like most improved player. Okay. Now we do know some of the names for most improved. Let's see what we got. Aha. Most improved player 2024-25. Right at the top, we got Cade Cunningham, minus 250. We got my man Noah Powell plus 240. We got the NBA's 3-point shooting champion, Tyler Hero at plus 1,700. We got Bobby's Evan Mobley at plus 4,500. Dyson Daniels at plus 6,000. And Christian Braun out there in Mile High with plus 6,000 along with Dyson Daniels. Now, this one might not be as clear cut, in my opinion. But once again, Uncle Scott, break this down for us. What looks like the best moves for most improved player of the year?
So I'm a Cade Cunningham guy, first and foremost. I don't think this year this award is for him as most improved. Norman Powell's been great. He's just missed, in my mind, he's missed too many games. He's going to be eligible for the award. He just misses games. He's missed like 8, 9, 10 games, something like that already. So he's out. I think it's Evan Mobley. I think what he's done on the defensive end for the Cavaliers as a lockdown defender and a rebounder, I love his game right now, and I think his offensive game has started to creep up to the point where JB Bickerstaff has made him a presence on the court and somebody that teams are going to have to defend and watch out for. So I like Evan Mobley at plus 4,500. I think he could end up winning the most improved player of the year, and I would not be shocked if he does. So my Kate Cunningham's a great player. Norm Powell's really good. Tyler Hero is that outside 3-point shooter. I don't think he's most improved. I wouldn't put him in this mix. I think out of all these players on the list right now, Evan Mobley would be first and Christian Braun would be second in my mind. So that's where I would go. Evan Mobley for me.
Who on next? Jay, you smart. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. You want to hate? Go ahead. I see it in your face.
Yeah, he's on mute too.
Both of them are on mute. Both of them are.
Yeah, no, I'm glad
I'm not on mute.
I was like, yo, $50 on him right now. $50 brings me 225,000. Oh man, we might have to do something. We got to do something about this. Go ahead, Jay. You wanted to jump on the most improved player bandwagon? No, all right. So of course, Alan, let's go ahead and get
It's
your
not.
feedback.
Nah, it's not that. I want to hear Bobby's answer.
Oh, well, first, we do the betting portion first, which is Scott and Alan. So, Alan, as you heard Uncle Scott's breakdown, and of course you heard me say how much money that would be if we put $50 on who he said. Where would you put your money at on this one?
Either Norman Powell or Evan Mobley. Those will be the two I would choose. I agree with Scott on Evan Mobley. So I don't think Tyler Hero is going to be a part of it. Cade Cunningham will probably be in the conversation all the way to the end. But as far as a betting standpoint, probably Norman Powell or Evan Mobley.
And before Bobby goes, let me say this. The Cavaliers could have the best record in the NBA. And they're not going to win an award. If it's not Atkinson for Coach of the Year, you got to give a Cavalier player something. They're not going to win MVP. Why not give this to Evan Mobley as the most improved player or defensive player of the year?
Can't agree more, Scott.
Yeah.
I want to hear what Bobby got to say.
It doesn't matter. You're going to hate either way. Just get your hate out of the way. But no, I'll say it. Like, I agree with Scott on Norman Powell, but for a different reason. I don't think Norman Powell win because he's too old.
Yeah,
like it's too late in his career to be most improved. Yeah. Like, it's too bad too because he's having a hell of a season. Christopher, like Brian, Brian, why are you on the list? Dyson, why are you on the list? Tyler Hero, I get why Tyler's there because since the trade went down, this is his first chance of really being first option. So, if he can carry them into good playoff standing, I see why he's there. I mean, it really comes down to Cade and Evan. The NBA got a huge favor. And that is that Victor Wembanyama got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we're gonna run into a situation. You're gonna run into a situation like a while back where, matter of fact, let me look it up real quick. Pardon me. What year was that? What year was that? Okay, 04, 05. Where Amika Okafor won Rookie of the Year and Ben Gordon won Sixth Man of the Year, when really Ben Gordon should have been the Rookie of the Year. But they gave Ben Gordon Sixth Man of the Year because he has such a great rookie year. You had to give him something.
Shout out to Ben Gordon, used to ball.
Yeah, exactly. And like his rookie year, dude was out of control, I think they're going to use this. I think Wemby's injury now clears a path to where Evan Mobley is all but guaranteed Defensive Player of the Year as long as he just continues what he's been doing, which would allow them to then give Cade Cunningham most improved. If Wemby was here, it's just like Scott said, you can't not give the best team in the NBA, like the best. Usually, the best. First of all, the best player on the best team isn't in the MVP conversation. Not even that he should win. He's not in the conversation. That's a problem. You can't just completely snub the best team in the NBA on a player award. So Wemby saved the day. I think Cade will win most improved only because they'll give Evan Mobley Defensive Player of the Year. Now, but to be fair, Evan does have an opportunity to go take both if he performs. Like tonight, he didn't have his best game tonight, but he played fourth quarter. He stepped up. I don't know if you watched the games. Like he played poor all game, and he steps up and hits that big three. Like, he showed up when it mattered. If he has more games like that, if he handles his business against, like last week we played the Grizzlies, he clearly outplayed Jaren Jackson, smoked him. When we played the Knicks, he smoked Karl Anthony Towns. If he keeps showing up, he can get both. But I think it's more likely he'll win DPOY and Cade gets most improved.
Hey, Whit, you have the FanDuel odds up? You want even better?
Yes, I do.
DraftKings Mobley is 5,000 plus 5,000.
Oh man!
For most improved.
Most improved.
For most improved, yeah. There goes. Yeah, we might need to just round up some dollars, guys. we can split a couple bands now. 20, 25, 2,500. Shoot, we can split that.
Braun is plus 7,000 on DraftKings.
Yeah, see that would be sweet if he come out the back end and drop some, then I would love to put some money on Christian Braun.
Yeah. I think Braun's blocked from between Cunningham and Mobley from winning this award. I think that's
it's a tough road to hoe from that end, from that standpoint.
Yep. I might throw a few bucks on Mobley to be honest with you.
It keeps every time we say it sounded better and better to me.
Yeah.
It's $50 right now. It'll make me feel pretty good in about a month. Okay.
Absolutely. And again, as Bobby said about Coach of the Year, I think Mobley's West Coast trip might tell a lot.
Yeah.
Right. If he goes out and dominates on the defensive end and the offensive end too, I think he's got a great shot to overtake Cunningham and win it.
Jay, you thinking about the vitriol? Are you thinking about the
about how to hate?
Yeah, he's thinking.
we holding on to it right now.
Hate.
While Jay thinks we're going to go ahead and get the last one MVP. We know what's going on with the MVP. But we're going to take a look at it anyway. Let's look at it. Big shouts out to everyone who uses FanDuel for these futures. I think this is pretty good right here. We got SGA. That's right. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander obviously leading the pack at minus 550. We got the 3-time, possibly soon to be 4-time MVP Nikola Jokic right here at plus 340. We got Big Giannis doing his best to bring the Bucks into contention on his own right now with plus 20,000. What? And then we got Jason Tatum on the back end with plus 40,000. I mean, this I don't know. It's a big numbers back here, fellas. But it might be sold up depending on what goes on, especially on what has been happening, what's been going on the West Coast as we see. So one more time, Uncle Scott.
I'm off the board. I'm Donovan Mitchell plus 50,000. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yo. And Mitchell needs to be up here. We said that earlier. That was what I was.
Just give him some odds. That's all. He ain't got one. Just
go. Everybody's been talking about SGA this year, how he should be MVP. Has anybody seen Nikola Jokic's stats? They're the best of his career right now. He's having the best season of his career. Better
and low key, Russell Westbrook is having like the second best year of his career, second or third best year of his career too.
Sometimes preseason predictions and what happens in the regular season can hurt guys. It may hurt SGA. It may bring Jokic right back into the conversation because everybody's saying it's a 2-horse race, but everybody says it's a 2-horse race and they talk SGA all the time. Again, the value is not there for SGA. It's minus 550. It's just not there. You can't. It's unbettable to me. If I had $50, I would put it on Jokic. I think he's had his best season. I think he's the best player on the Nuggets. I think if the Nuggets were to cut into OKC's lead even more, and they would have played really good down the stretch, and Jokic averages 20 to 25 points a game with about 12 to 15 rebounds and about 10 assists a game, it's possible that Jokic steals this from SGA. I would reasonably, SGA is the MVP. If I'm betting, it's Nikola Jokic. So I would put my money toward Nikola Jokic right now for MVP. That's where I would go.
Duh, you know what I'm saying? Jokic makes the most sense. And if it makes dollars, it makes sense, especially out here on the Rec Room in the Hoop basketball show. Alan, you know, you heard it from Uncle Scott. We in the same vein right here when we talking about Yoke. Or maybe can we put $50 on the big buck, Giannis or Jason Tatum, and bring home the big dollars? What you think?
You know I'm going to be biased when I'm talking about this. If I had to choose, yes, it would be Jokic because it's the plus money. I still think SGA is going to win it. And I 100% agree with Bobby. I think Donovan Mitchell should be involved in this conversation. How the best player on the best team is not involved in the MVP conversation just baffles me. Like right now, it should be SGA, Donovan Mitchell. It really should be. It should be SGA, Donovan Mitchell, and maybe Jokic behind them. That should be your 3-horse race for MVP right now.
I hear you. Well, 3-horse races, nothing's wrong with that. And in my mind, you know, in the realistic view that we have to do, and we have to picture where we are right now and where we see it going in a few weeks, because the NBA playoffs will be starting up and out of nowhere, fellas, and it's going to be that time again where we'll be crowning the MVP, the most improved player, and the coach of the year for the 2024-25 season. Let's just take a quick peek at a couple other things I thought was pretty interesting on this sheet right here. Rookie of the year, Stephen Castle right up there at the top at minus 115. Jalen Wells plus 250. Khalil Ware at 11 plus 1100. Zachary Rissalcher at plus 1300. Alex Sarr 2200. I'm somewhere in between thinking it's going to be a runaway just because of how well Jalen Wells is right now. Nobody really knows because we don't get to see a lot of Memphis games on TV. Stephen Castle, low key, he's going to get so much more PT and more activity because there is no Wemby. And let's look at, defensive player of the year is your boy, Bobby Evan Mobley, right at the top. Former defensive player of the year, Jaren Jackson Jr. right here at plus 175. Dyson Daniels at plus 750. We got Lou. Look at this. 1, 2, and 3. Allen, you should be excited about this right here. Shout out to the executives for OKC who got Lou Dort, SGA, and Jalen Williams somehow in the title contention for Defensive Player of the Year. We said most improved.
Player of the Year, I'm betting on DraftKings. Evan Mobley's plus 105 right now, not minus 105. So I'm getting double my money.
Double your money. We gotta check that out. See, that's why you gotta shop around and compare. 6-man. This I think is actually a closer race than most people think. Richard at minus 170, Malik Beasley at plus 250, DeAndre Hunter, who went from, of course, balling in Atlanta and now is playing with Bobby's Cavs. How you go from a worse situation to a better situation and actually get an opportunity to possibly win an NBA championship? That's what's up. Plus 650 for him. Nas Reed plus 2,000. Russell Westbrook plus 4. This is where I'm at right here. What if Russell wins the 6-man and then comes out to have been the MVP and the 6-man of the year? And then I got Ty Jerome right there at the bottom. And then, of course, we already talked about it. Kenny Atkinson, JB Bickerstaff, you know, this. Boom, clutch player. This is something I was kind of interested in as well. Jalen Brunson, Nikola Jokic, Trae Young, and somehow, some way, we get Tyrese Maxey, Jason Tatum, and De'Aaron Fox. It's really some good plays out here in the streets. And, of course, if you want to hear some more about what makes sense and what makes dollars as far as the NBA betting lodges are concerned, you want to check in with Lock It In. my guys, AP Allen Perales, and then of course Scott Cole.
Oh my God, he said it right. He said it right.
And of course Tanner
Proud of
Dawson.
you, Whit. Proud of you.
Thank you, sir. I practice, and then we got a 10 a.m. Central Time show. That's like 11 o'clock Eastern. So that's really good time to wake up and get your mind right and know where you want to put your money at. So we want to make sure we lock it in on Saturdays and Sundays. Uncle Scott, now that we got some more basketball to throw in there, I'm sure you'll probably run that back Sunday, Saturday, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk probably a lot of college basketball Saturday, and then Sunday will be college basketball, NBA, NHL, of course, all weekend. But I think we're going to probably talk some awards here pretty soon. For NBA,
by the way,
NHL.
if you're one of those weirdos that does wrestling bets, John Cena's a minus 2,000 to win the Elimination Chamber.
What?
Don't do that. I think the best plus odds money is like CM Punk at plus 550. I want to say is what I saw. So,
oh man, CM Punk. Shout out to CM Punk, man. The other day, y'all know I watch a lot of MMA and stuff, and somebody was making a list of the most disappointing MMA appearances, and of course they had CM Punk on there. I just think that he has a great career where he is, and everybody isn't meant to fight through what he had to fight through. And they put him in there with some dogs. And if he wasn't ready, then he should have stepped into that situation on multiple occasions. But I give him an A+ for heart, no matter what was said about him. Okay, because he didn't
two words, 3 syllables, 6 letters. CM Punk.
Yeah, he didn't just take that. He just didn't take the first loss. He took several losses. He kept going at it, and I love him for that. So shout out to CM Punk. All right, now, so this is one of those things we love to do here on the show. We do it on the Rec Room, and we're gonna do it on Friday nights too from time to time. We're gonna see what really goes on. So this is in the hoop, but right now we're gonna toss it up to Bobby G because this is a slice of life, man. Bobby, what you got for us?
This one's easy, man. Spoke a little bit on Audible earlier, and we do our close it out with our mental health check-in, and Marv was speaking on a little bit on self-improvement, basically, and he was saying he's working on being on time, more being more responsible with his time. So my slice of life today is, as we settle in for the meaty part of the year, school is coming to an end, getting ready for summer, family's getting ready for vacation. Don't get so locked in on fun. Remember, you always have to be looking for chances and opportunities to improve yourself. So take some time out and just pick something that you don't do so well, and hey, let's work on that. Let's get better. There used to be the saying, each one teach one. Well, how can you teach others if you don't know yourself? So take a little time out, before you hit vacation, for the kids get out of school and they consume all your time. Hey, improve on something. Maybe you want to improve your body. Schedule some more gym time. Maybe like Mar, you want to work on handling your time. Hey, organize your schedule over the weekend for the whole week. Whatever you feel you don't do as good. Hey, let's start on that this week. Let's improve ourselves so we can be better to ourselves and for each other.
Hey, that's how we close the show. Self-improvement. I personally I need to work on a few things my damn self.
Yeah. So do the Trailblazers.
I know he heard it. Even though he's not here right now, I know he heard it. You say the Trailblazers too loud, Jay pops up. But of course,
they can begin that work on Sunday.
I'm definitely gonna take a couple notes from the Slice of Life. You should too, and make sure you check out Bobby G and the Audible podcast. They got Audible Reacts on Thursday nights. They got what's the Audible show on Fridays?
Friday is just the original Audible Sports Podcast with sports meets life and culture. Then on Thursday, Audible Reacts.
That's right. With Sports Meets Life and Culture on Fridays, make sure you check them out. Like, share, and subscribe. Put that notification bell on so every time Audible pops up, you'll know. And make sure you put that notification bell on for us here in the Rec Room. Guys, look, man, we did it too, and some change, man. It's crazy how time flies. And I definitely gotta say, man, I enjoyed it. Guys, Alan, Uncle Scott, we know you guys got some work to do in the morning. So I definitely appreciate y'all hanging out with the kid this weekend, or not this weekend, but today. And then of course, Bobby G, man, I know you working hard. You did 2 shows today, so I appreciate you as well. And then for Jay, who is actually experiencing a couple technical hater difficulties, we know what's going on.
Taking command. He's taking command.
Exactly.
He just didn't want to give Evan Mobley's credit. That's all.
Right.
We understand.
So hey, we appreciate everybody who came through the chat today. We appreciate you for staying in. Make sure you are going to like, share, and subscribe to the Rec Room Group Podcast. Put the bell on. Bing! Hit it up for us. That way you know every time the Rec Room comes on, you'll be aware, and we'll check you out next Friday for
there he is. There he is.
Oh no!
My vote for most improved is Evan Mobley. Like I said before, he had to improve. So here we go. Proof's in the pudding.
Thanks, Jay. We look at that. The late game save from Jay right there. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So for Bobby G, for AP, Uncle Scott Cole, and my guy Jay the NYC man, we out. Uh-oh.
I love it. You guys are so great.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.